Welcome to Mainland Television Regional News. I'm Graham O'Brien, and in some stories from this week's news roundup for the Nelson Tasman region, Nelson man on a mission to warm children for winter, Whale creates fundraiser for ill Golden Bay designer, and we pay tribute to Motueka musician, plus more. The old saying, if you want something done, do it yourself, is one that Nelson man Glenn Bisdee, in true Kiwi fashion, has taken to heart with his Keeping Kids Warm initiative. Glenn wanted to do something for the people in our community who he felt needed a bit of a hand to keep warm last winter. With another winter upon us and no respite for those hit by the Nelson Council's wood burner ban, his efforts seemed to be well needed. I spoke with Glenn about his efforts on behalf of others and what he has achieved so far.
What made you start this project, community project?
I suppose we were kind of trying to come up with an idea that we could make a little bit of a difference to the community, and we came up with numerous ideas and none of them really fit the bill as such. And then I kind of stumbled across this one, I don't know, probably after a few beers, and thought this one would be the most effective in terms of making the most difference for the least amount of effort, energy, kind of bang for your buck, I suppose. And then we just kind of coined it Keeping Kids Warm, and went out and basically just started getting into it, installing panel heaters into kids' bedrooms last winter. And it was, quite a good little project to be involved with. There was no umbrella organisation which we were working under. It was just us going out there and getting stuck into it and making a bit of a difference. So, and it felt good doing it too. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's great, and it's good to see you doing that and people like yourself taking up this sort of challenge. How can you afford to do this? Is it coming out of your own pocket?
Well, it came out of my good mate's pocket actually initially. Good mate Jamie Harrington from Hybrid Homes said to me that if I came up with a good idea, he'd be prepared to sponsor it and put the money up to do this. And he initially gave me $2,000, and we bought, I think, 40 panel heaters. And then since then, Nelson City Council gave Victory Community Centre, who we've been working closely with, about $2,000 or so. And that went a long way. And then individuals, $100 here, $200 there, $500 from a few lawyers in town, through the Give a Little site, which I set up. And we've totally raised about $7,000 so far, which is, not too bad. And yeah, we've been kind of, installing them as many as we can really into people's houses, into kids' bedrooms, people's lounges, what have you, and just kind of going for it really.
That's fantastic. And how many do you think you have installed so far? And can you tell us just a little bit about these heaters? What makes them sort of so great?
Well, we've installed probably about 60 or so, I think, and they're really efficient. They run about 10 cents a minute in terms of their cost in electricity. 10 cents an hour. And they are kind of a convection heater, so they're fixed to the wall, and slowly but surely the room will heat up in the course of a night. I mean, it's not instant heat, kind of just takes the chill off a room. You can't heat a too big a bedroom with them. They're to be installed into a kind of 4 metre by 3 metre room to be most effective. And yeah, we're just kind of been, just doing as many as we can, as quick as we can, really, as kind of winter like today kind of strikes. We'll be out there this afternoon and we'll probably whack in about 6 different people's houses, in the course of about 2 or 3 hours. So it's not a huge, it's not a huge time, effort, energy expenditure. It's just go out there and go for it.
Funding cuts are always unwelcome, but when it's a 62.5% cut of previous year's funding, it is not only unwelcome, but could prove disastrous to the groups that quite often do the most in the community with the least. We talked with Victory Community Director Kendra Douglas and Penny Molnar, the Victory Centre's community nurse, about their concerns over these community-focused funding cuts.
What would be the direct impacts on the community, do you feel if this happens?
Well, us and many other community organisations, there are about 90 I think that apply to this fund, will feel ever more vulnerable about not only just the way the money gets distributed but the amount. We've not been very highly supported even, over the last few years. So I think it just makes us go, what next? And it comes back to a fundamental kind of question I have for council is what is their commitment to social wellbeing? Because we believe that it's a core service. It's part of the infrastructure of our community, are the vulnerable.
Sure, and we all have to live in this community. Whatever affects the community always goes up and affects all of us in the end. So it's the base groups that are looking after all of our well-beings.
It's I can't remember who said it years ago, but it was the strength of a community is in their response to the most vulnerable and or the most needy. And when we've got generally fairly low incomes and we've got high rents, there places that kind of ongoing pressure in our community. And we've seen it for years and years here, and it's not going away in a hurry. So to see something like this happening makes us feel very precarious.
Kendra, thanks very much for your time, and thanks very much for all the work that you do in this area and in Nelson.
Thank you, and good on Mainland for keeping the voices coming through.
Penny, you're the community nurse down here. You work amongst a number of organisations. With this funding cut, if you could say something to council about this community, what would you like to say?
I'd like to say don't forget those who are the least visible, because if we don't all have a place in this community, how can we feel like we belong? And it's by belonging that reduces the feelings of disconnectedness. People don't care for each other so much if there's that feeling. I think the City Council's in a really good position to be able to facilitate a much better connection with all the different funders, and so therefore the funding gets spread evenly and appropriately. And we as a community, we know what's needed. I've always, having worked in the community for many years, I know that community agencies know where it's best to put the money. We need to be trusted to be part of making those decisions.
Coming up this weekend on Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. is the Heli Rescue Base Open Day on McLaren Drive at the airport. Incidents involving the service last year set a new record for the number of rescues, which puts more pressure than ever on this vital service. I spoke with General Manager Paula Muddle from Nelson Marlborough Helicopter Rescue Service about what is happening at this year's Open Day.
Paula, thanks for taking time to talk to us today. Last year, record number of missions. Usually everyone wants to break records, but you guys are a little bit different. How has it been so far for you this year?
Look, it's just been ongoing, steady, 2-3 times a day. Some days are quiet, but don't think it's going to slow down.
Heli Rescue is having their fundraiser this weekend. What's in store for the crowds that are going to be attending?
Oh, look, it's our one day that we can actually open the doors and invite people to come in, because normally, obviously, we're out flying or doing other things. Really good opportunity for people that have been rescued to come along and meet the crew and just say thanks. It's mainly for the kids. They love helicopters, and we've got all the other emergency services here that support us. So lots to see. We've got live winch display at 12 o'clock and a very popular kids dress up competition at 1 o'clock. So 4 lucky kids will actually get a scenic helicopter flight. But if they don't win, we've got $60 scenic flights happening all day. So really good opportunity to come down and support us.
And for each mission, what's it actually cost to put it up in the air? This is what we're fundraising for. People need to know what's it going to cost if they need to be rescued.
Yeah. Well, it's obviously a free service to the public, supported by the community, but it works out at about $3,500 is the shortfall that we have to fundraise per mission, which is huge.
It certainly is. And fundraising this Sunday, have you got any other events planned for coming up throughout the year?
Oh, we always encourage people to do events, and we don't do any major ones. There's a lot of time involved, and you never know what the return is going to be. But something what we're doing with the Base Open Day, with the winch display, Breffney from The Breeze, she was away on holiday, so her team nominated her to be winched. She doesn't want to have a bar of it, so we've chucked it on Trade Me. So we've got an auction if people want to search Heli Rescue, and they can bid on and have the opportunity to have that experience themselves, because I know that there's some people who would love it, but she's like, no, not for me.
It's funny how the one that's away usually gets volunteered, isn't it?
Yeah.
Paula, we're usually used to nice sunny weather here. Is there any changes if it's rain?
Oh, look, I looked at Met Service. I'm not even worried about it. Nelson will push through. We'll have some good weather. We've got heaps of space in the hangar, so all the same activities will be going on.
Hey, thanks very much for your efforts on behalf of the community.
Oh, thank you.
Tasman Rugby has announced it is now in the black after turning in a fifth profit within the last 6 years. This was due in no small part to the top efforts of their union flagship team, the Tasman Marcos, who produced an exciting run to the ITM Cup Premiership final last season. Surpluses over the last 3 seasons now mean that Tasman Union has money in the bank and is debt-free. We caught up with CEO Tony Lewis about what this means for the Tasman Rugby Union and the Marcos for this season.
Tasman Rugby Union CEO Tony Lewis, thanks very much for sparing a little bit of time on your day off, I hear too.
Yeah, pleasure. No, nothing better than saying something good.
Tasman Rugby Union's in the black. I mean, it's where lots of people want to be, everyone wants to be. What has contributed to the success and the financial position of the Tasman Rugby this year?
As we stated at the AGM, there's 2 factors, and they're pretty clear factors. The first one is the success of the ITM Cup team. There's no doubt that our revenue from crowds, our people coming to watch the matches, and then the engagement with the wider Tasman rugby community. In fact, I'd say the community. Our revenue in Melbourne, for example, increased by 60%, and our sponsorship grew by 5%. So 2 factors: one, Tasman rugby community and all the community wanting to be part of the team, and the team's success.
Yeah, that's fantastic. They're great figures to tell us, all right. What does this financial surplus mean for Tasman Rugby in the upcoming season?
So in the last 3 months, the board's worked very hard on establishing a board charter, and the charter clearly indicates that we want to spend more money at community rugby level. So there's no real increase in wages for the ITM Cup, there's no real increase in support staff. All the money is going into community rugby at the grassroots. We're aiming to try and hit 5,000 school children by the end of October, and we're also gone from 2 RDOs to 6 RDOs, and they'll increase to 8 next week. So the whole emphasis of the surplus is to put straight back into community rugby and try and grow that game.
Well, there'll be lots of young ones rubbing their hands in glee with that news coming out.
Yeah, I think last year it proved to be a bit of a success. We employed Mitchell Scott on a limited time frame, and it was really successful, and he made a huge effort. This year we're hoping to employ 3 Marco players through that time period before the ITM Cup to get them to schools, to get the kids, touching them, rubbing them. And if everyone come to watch last year, I know Mitchell Scott wasn't our star player, but every kid used to go, there goes Mitchell, there goes Mitchell. And that's the sort of thing we want to try and do, because there's no doubt he made a huge impact, not only for the team, but himself.
Yeah, sure thing. No, that's good when the kids see their stars out there. It makes it all the more real for them, doesn't it?
Look, I think it even goes a little bit more when they actually Facebook them, they follow them on Twitter, they start Snapchatting them. It's all that sort of stuff. It's engagement. It's all new to me. It's not something that I do, but in today's world, that's what the young teenagers and even the kids in intermediate school.
Yeah, sure. It was, like you say, it was a brilliant year for Marcos with the ITM Championship, close call. And what are the preparations underway now for the upcoming ITM Premiership season?
There's 2 phases to it, to be honest. The first phase was to sign 23 players that we'd earmarked that we wanted to keep, which we did that last October. And that left us with 7 players to come through club rugby. So that's the first phase. And we also let Tom Marshall, Mitchell Scott and Bryce Heems go. Tom's going to Gloucester, probably will play for England one day, and Mitchell's going to the Force, and Bryce is on his way to Worcester after a season with the Chiefs. So that's that phase. Phase 2 is what's called our apprenticeship program, where we had the highest number of local ITM Cup players born and bred than any other province in NZ. So we started our apprenticeship program. We've contracted 13 players and to that group, and that we've got a fantastic support from Tully's. We've got support from Haven Sports Trust, John Tapp and his group over in Blenheim, and NMIT. So we're securing the future, and that group train, live, breathe with KK every day of the week at the moment, and they're on a real close bonding thing with him, and he sees that as key Marco players in 2 years' time. So as I said, there's 2 phases. Next year, or this year, hopefully be successful, but then also looking at 2017.
An international cosmetics company has come out publicly against a proposal for seabed mining that Minister Simon Bridges has approved. The company has a store in Hardy Street here in Nelson, so I went along to Lush Cosmetics to speak with store manager Shelley about why a business such as Lush has decided that this is an important issue for them to put their corporate weight behind.
We're just wondering, why is Lush, a company that sells handmade cosmetics, getting in behind the anti-seabed mining protests?
Lush are long-time activists for environmental, humanitarian and animal welfare issues. We're proud to be pioneers of all these issues in sustainable business. In the cosmetics industry, we work alongside small grassroots organisations to help promote change and inspire social awareness. We work with community-based groups. Chasm are one that we're doing for charity at the moment. So they have stopped 2 applications for seabed mining going through in the last year.
What is Lush doing to support the protest against seabed mining?
So Lush are partnering up with Chasm, which is Kiwis Against Seabed Mining. This is a non-profit organisation. They have stopped 2 applications for seabed mining in the past year through just hard work and dedication. They work with communities and coastal people to bring awareness to what current and up-and-coming applications that are going through. Our oceans are such a biodiverse, essential part, and they're so under threat from seabed mining. So we are just trying to talk to the government and say, is it worth it? Are these risks known? Nowhere in the world has a scale of mining been practiced. So should our marine life and environment off the coast of New Zealand be the test for these operations?
Shelley, thanks very much, and thanks on behalf of the community for the work that you and your company's doing to help protect New Zealand's seabed.
Awesome. Come and sign our petition, which is in store until Wednesday.
Look out for the WOW fundraiser extravaganza, which is to hit town this weekend in an effort to help a Golden Bay designer fight her cancer battle. This event is gathering momentum with amazing costumes, props and memorabilia being gathered to sell to the public. Former Supreme and youngest WOW winner, designer Claire Prebble, flew to Germany last week to begin an expensive aggressive treatment not offered here in New Zealand. Up until recently, 29-year-old Claire, who grew up in Golden Bay, had been working for Weta Workshop in Wellington as head of costume design until she became unwell. A Give a Little fundraiser was set up for Claire to help raise funds for her treatment, and donations have been coming in thick and fast, so far raising over $89,000 since it was created on the 24th of March this year. Chrissy Small went to the World of Wearable Arts Museum in Nelson this week to speak to Leonie Tratham about this generous offer and to see what sorts of items they are putting up for sale to help towards funding Claire's treatment and recuperation.
What a fabulous fundraiser and for a great cause. Now, what have we got here?
Oh, what haven't we got? We've got animal costumes, we've got lizards, we've got spotty dotties, we've got leaves, we've got card characters, we've got UV creations, and then look, got some beautiful children's garments. You could be a white puffball, you could be anything. A gingham girl, you could be a silver table waiter, or you could just be wearing like yourself this beautiful zebra hat.
That's right. Well, I actually thought it'd make a great motorbike helmet, actually.
I don't think the police would think so, but hey, who knows?
Look, these are fantastic. I'm amazed at the amount of effort and time that's gone into this production. I mean, this is how many years?
We've got 28 years worth of character costumes. This is not all of them. This is just part of the ones that we are releasing. And we thought, well, what better cause could it go to? So Claire Prebble is going to be, she's so excited by this. She was really rapt and really honoured. Yeah. And we're just so happy that we can do something to help such an amazing lady.
Now, okay, so we have these, is it an auction or is it just a sale?
No, not an auction, it's a sale. We're going to price things. So we'll have a rack of samples out, and then behind the counter we'll have bags and bags of more of the same. So we're willing to bargain, we're willing to barter with you, but this is a good cause, so, be prepared to pay as well. But no, we'll have things from 50 cents all the way through. But then not only that, we're going to have a special offer for the Nelson people, for local people coming into the museum, where they're, instead of paying $24, we'll have it $15 for locals if they can prove a local address, and $10 of that is going towards Claire's charity as well.
Now that's really generous.
Yeah.
Now I'm amazed. Now tell me, when is this happening? What time should people be here? Will there be queues? What are you expecting?
Oh, I hope there's queues. I hope there's hundreds of people. Yeah, it's the Saturday, 18th of April. If it's raining, we'll be doing it on Sunday, and it's 10 till 4.
Right. Okay.
Cash
And it's
only too. Bring your cash.
right.
No EFTPOS.
Okay. And so it's here at WOW.
Here at WOW in the car park. So yes, come on out to the car park out the front, and we've got a container coming tomorrow with a rocket ship. I mean, who wouldn't want a rocket ship?
I'm sure there's plenty of young adults and that would love to have that,
Well, you'll
or
fit your whole
children.
family because it's big. We are emptying many containers full of props. So there's so much stuff we're going to have, not just character costumes, many props, and also flags, memorabilia, lots of things.
Right. So this is an opportunity for everyone to get to own a bit of WOW.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, we've never ever done this before, never. So yeah, what a great opportunity.
Wow, goodness. So how many items do you think are going to be up for sale? Any idea?
Well over 1,000. Well over 1,000, because some of these sets might have, one costume might have 16 other sets in that costume. More of the same, because we are dressing dancers, so we have a whole team of dancers, so some might be one costume, but then there might be 15 of the same. And who doesn't want a piece of WOW in their fancy dress wardrobe?
I think I found my bit.
You have, yes. For you, $5.
Oh, that's very generous.
In February, we ran a story on Motueka blues musician Ralph Bennett Eads as he prepared to say goodbye to family, friends and fans after discovering he had a terminal illness earlier this year. Ralph had songs recorded for what was to be his last ever album, Sleeping Gypsy, and a fundraiser on Pledge Me had been set up to help him complete the production work required for this project. Proceeds for the album, over and above production costs, were to be put in trust for his daughter Gracie. Ralph passed away last month, and we'll leave you now with a tribute to Ralph put together by the latest album's producer, Phil Davidson.
Watch the sunsets, watch the moon rise, lift out of the ocean, island at its side. The wind had dropped, the sea was calm, I waded in and then I swam, bathing in a paint box of oranges on sea, moon above the island, sleeping gypsy. Sleeping gypsy. Listen to the ocean, drift away in dreams, solitary and singular, salt upon the skin, to savor and to nurture, to quench the soul within. Ba-da-ba-do-day, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-ba-ba-day, ba-da-ba-do-day, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-ba-ba-day. solitary and singular, salt upon the skin, to savor and to nurture, to quench the soul within. Watch the sunset, watch the moon rise, lift out of the ocean, island at its side. The wind had dropped, the sea was calm, I waded in and then I swam.
After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.
Hi, I'm Sharon O'Neill and I'm back home and you're watching Mainland Television.
Hi, my name's Ian Mortimer. Mortimer Auto Upholstery is your one-stop shop for all your upholstery needs. We do car and boat interiors, boat canopies, ute tonneau covers, canvas and PVC fabrication. Call in and see us in Oxford Mews, 72 Oxford Street, Richmond.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220? And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $979? So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.
We're the team at Jaycar, right here in Nelson, 120 Hardy Street. Our shop is full of electronic items,
including security alarm systems, electronic components,
solar and power,
electronics toys,
sound systems, cables and much, much more. Jaycar.
120 Hardy Street, Nelson.
Nelson City Brass is presenting their latest work, Gallipoli 2015, the Variety Concert, on Saturday the 25th of April at 7:30 p.m. at the Theatre Royal with conductor Chris Lawton. On behalf of the team here at Mainland Television News, thank you for joining us, and we'll bring you the latest news and events from around the region again tomorrow.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
Discover the Belgrove Tavern, just 20 minutes south of Richmond on State Highway 6. A restaurant, functions, weddings, barbecue, garden bar with lots of room for kids. Come in, see us.